folks, welcome back to Mr. P's Film Review, and I'm here with another film review. I'm going to be talking to you about Hustlers, the 2019 crime drama written and directed by Leonardo Scafaria, starring Constance Wu, Jennifer Lopez, Keke Palmer, and Cardi B. This film is based upon a true story, and it tells the story of 4 strippers from New York who decide to extort money from the corporate bankers, CEOs, and executives who frequent their strip club. From the trailers, from what I saw, I interpreted it to be a film in the same vein as Ocean's 8, where we have a group of women trying to scam men. And to some extent it is like that, but when you watch the film, you will see that there's more heart, there's more emotion, and there is a deeper story to this. But having seen this, I can honestly say that this film is a thoroughly entertaining watch from start to finish. The best way I can describe this film is, if you take Molly's Game, the acclaimed film written and directed by Aaron Sorkin, and you add it with Ocean's 8. So you add a true story and you add a heist movie that is entertaining and comedic, and you put the two together, this is what you get. And I can honestly say that it was a thoroughly enjoyable experience from start to finish. While stripping is at the forefront of this film, and there is a lot of stripping in this film, that takes second place to the main storyline, which is the audacious way that these women scam their clients, how beautifully constructed the cons are, and how brilliantly executed the cons are. And that is what keeps you at the edge of your seat. That is what makes you think, okay, this is enjoyable, what's going to happen next? And the fact that it's based on a true story is what makes the film even more engaging. And as the stakes increase, you think, okay, I can't wait to see what's happening next. Let's talk about the casting. Jennifer Lopez has been getting a lot of praise for this role, and rightly so. This is her best acting role to date. I haven't seen Jennifer Lopez act in a film this good since Out of Sight. So that was back in 1998, so we're talking about 21, 22 years ago. But she was on the money. She knocked it out of the park. She gave a strong, commanding performance, and it's a shame that when you think about Jennifer Lopez, there's a lot of things that overshadow her.
She got a great ass!
Namely, the numerous relationships that she's had. You know, when she was a singer, there was like reports of the outlandish diva requests that she was making when she was on tour. There was a whole lot of that. But when you take all that away, you realize that this woman is an actress and can actually act when she's given the right script. Remember, when she made her debut in 1997 as Selena, the musician who was brutally murdered by a member of her fan club, she earned a Golden Globe nomination. And this film, she ticks all the boxes. Very charismatic, very engaging, very magnetic, charming, and at 50, she's still as stunning as ever. The opening sequence where she's dancing on the pole, I tell you something now, I was drooling and slobbering all over the place. And fellas, if you go to the cinema with your girlfriend, keep your legs crossed at all times and don't let her see you do anything silly. But Jennifer Lopez, she ticked all of the boxes for me, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's a few nominations for her for this role. But equally as good was Constance Wu. Constance Wu is a great comedic actress. We know her from Filthy Rich Asians. We know her from such films as Fresh Off of the Boat. So she's a very, very good comedic actress. But in this film, she has to give a good dramatic performance as well. So there is a safety net that is taken away from her. She doesn't have to rely on comedy. She has to be very dramatic. And she is in certain scenes of the film, and particularly in the scenes where she's dealing with her boyfriend who doesn't want to help raise their baby, when she's trying to look for funds to try to help feed her daughter. The scenes where she's looking after her grandmother, those scenes were very, very touching. And her interaction with Jennifer Lopez in the film made for some great chemistry in this film. And this film, whilst a heist film, there are some really, really great comedic moments in this film. The rest of the cast in this film is very, very eclectic and diverse. And you got Keke Palmer, you got Cardi B, you got a few others, and it is uniquely diverse. And on paper, it shouldn't work, but these young ladies all work very well together, and they bring something unique, which makes the film just as enjoyable. And what I like most is the fact that the main protagonists in this film, you find out what their motivations are. They're all given an arc. They're all given a backstory where you can find out why they're doing what they're doing, which is good because it's not rushed, it's not hurried. They're all introduced slowly but steadily into this film. I was a bit skeptical about Cardi B participating in this film. And here's the thing. I don't know whether Cardi B inspired the ladies who this film is based upon, or Cardi B was inspired by what the ladies had done. Because prior to being a rapper, she was a stripper also. And there was reports about how she used to drug men and take them up to the room and take everything away from them, like their money, their credit cards, etc. And, your guess is as good as mine. Did she inspire this film or was she inspired by this film? Comment below. But as an actress in this film, she didn't do anything for me. And I wasn't impressed with her performance at all. If she would have just appeared as herself, I would have thought, okay, that's Cardi B. But the fact that she was given a role that didn't do nothing for her, I just wasn't, she added nothing to the role at all. She added nothing to the film. And I thought that if you would have taken her character away, the film would have still flowed. The same that there's a cameo by Usher. Usher appears in this film, and I was sitting there thinking, okay, what's he doing in this film? And if you would have taken those two characters out, the film would have still flowed and still would have worked great. I have to give props where props is due to Leonor Scofaria, and I hope I said your name right, who makes her directorial debut, not only as a director, but also as a writer. This is an impressive debut from her. And she handled this film with such maturity that you would have thought that this was a film that was directed by someone else who would be more established, i.e. Steven Soderbergh or someone else. And for me, Leonora Scofaria, she is actually an actress. And when you look at her filmography on IMDb, she hasn't done anything that is significant or that stands out and think, oh yeah, I remember her from that film. So she is forging a new career for herself as a director. And this film, Hustlers, it draws inspiration from a variety of films, Ocean's 11, Goodfellas, Molly's Game, just in terms of how stylish and how crisp this film is. This film is bristling with energy, and the way that the characters are introduced, the way that the characters interact with one another, the way that the scams are orchestrated and how brilliantly executed they are, the great comedic moments, the voiceovers, the brilliant soundtrack that captures the moment and is used for certain parts of the film. I like the fact that this film is told in retrospect, so it is told by Constance Wu, who we see speaking to the reporter, played by Julia Stiles, and then it jumps back to past and present events. I like the way that this was done. And it is a very, very crisp and brilliantly filmed film. Brilliantly made, brilliantly executed. And I really can't wait to see what Leonora does next, because she's got a very, very bright future as a filmmaker. But as a film, I can honestly say that Hustlers is one of the most satisfying films that I've seen this year. It's got great performances, it's got heart, it's got emotion. You feel a great empathy for the characters, purely because of the time period that this film is set in and the fact that this film is set during the cash crisis and during the financial crisis of 2008 leading on to 2009, where people lost their homes, people lost their money, people lost everything. And you get to see the impact that they have in these characters. So you feel something for them and you're kind of rooting for them in a great way. But brilliantly written, again, incredibly satisfying, and one of the best films that I've seen this year. And I think that this is a film that will appeal to both men and women. Whilst there is some stripping here, there was also some female empowerment in this film, and I'm sure that ladies will love this. So if you take away the fact that the first half, brilliant, great introduction to the characters, etc., and then the second half does drag on a little bit, and with the exception of the two lane performances from Usher and Cardi B, and you take that away, you still got an entertaining watch. So I'll give this film a very, very strong 8 out of 10. So there's my review. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. Keep on subscribing to this channel. Leave your comment with what is your favorite heist film. Follow my boy Joe Cobra. Follow Alicia Martin, who's got a really, really great web series coming out. And I shall see you on the next film review. Take care.